You're listening to We the People.
This is We the People. I'm Alan Garrett, and here's some news that you're not going to get from major media. In Florida this morning, a U.S. Navy veteran was arrested in Live Oaks, Florida after crossing the road while protesting the Sable Trail pipeline. Also in Standing Rock, currently 77-year-old Navy vet Joe Robertson, that's right, 77 years old, currently being held after an arrest in North Dakota involving the DAPL pipeline. Finally, we can celebrate a minor victory that hasn't been reported by major media. Red Fawn Fallis, you may recall she was arrested for attempted murder after a claim by the DAPL militia. Yeah, I refuse to call them law enforcement. They claimed that she fired shots at officers during a protest, and you may recall the video that was circulated. No gun was seen by anyone but officers. No gun was found or produced by authorities, and the video clearly shows that the only thing that she was firing was a prayer stick. We all know how difficult and how dangerous those can be to handle. She has been released almost after a month in jail, but she still faces possible federal firearms charges for a concealed weapon. CNBC is reporting right now that Donald Trump's Energy Department transition team has sent a memo to the Energy Department. This could be a precursor to what he's planning on doing to the EPA. They're asking for the names of people who have worked on climate change in the profession and the names of the lab workers, and this alarms the Energy Department's employees and advisor. The memo was sent to the Energy Department on Tuesday and seen by Reuters on Friday, and it contains 74 questions, including a request for all of the department employees and contractors who attended the annual global climate talks at the United Nations over the last 5 years. That's right, they want a list going back 5 years on the number of people who have gone to climate talks, because we know how dangerous it is to talk about the climate. They asked for a list of all department employees and contractors who have attended any meetings on the cost of carbon and the environmental regulations related to carbon. It also asked for all the publications written by those employees over the past 5 years and from 17 national laboratories. As one unnamed Department of Energy source says, this feels like a first draft of a political enemies list. When Donald Trump said he wanted to drain the swamp, apparently it was to make room for witch hunts, and it's starting here at the Department of Energy in our 17 national laboratories. Now, Donald Trump has previously said that climate change is a hoax perpetrated by Chinese to damage U.S. manufacturing. Well, we all know that that's not true. It's made up. It's in Donnie's head, perpetrated by the Republican talking points and by the mantra of the oligarchy of corporate America. He wants to do away with the Paris Accords, a climate change agreement that was struck up in Paris last year. Contenders for the Department of Energy under Trump include a guy by the name of Kevin Kramer, who is a representative of oil-producing North Dakota. That's right, North Dakota. What do we know about North Dakota? Oh, that's right, the Dakota Access Pipeline and Energy Transfer Partners and the Standing Rock Sioux Nations. So he's going to put DAPL in charge of the Energy Department. This is the Trump administration. Going back to the memo, it also asked for 20 top salaried employees at the department's labs, a list of all their websites maintained and contributed by lab and staff workers during work hours. It also asked for a list of their projects for advanced research into high-risk, clean energy products that could revolutionize energy markets. That unnamed source was quoted as saying, they are certainly sending an aggressive signal here with some of these questions. They need to be careful. I worry about some of the questions being sent that could unnecessarily alienate key career staff, because they need the career staff and professionals to get the work done. The Energy Department employs over 90,000 people in nuclear weapons maintenance, research labs, and nuclear energy, advanced renewables, batteries, and climate science. Is he looking to purge the Energy Department? Is he going to destroy the climate change work that's been going on there for the last 5-10 years? Even George Bush, W, didn't do that. Even George Bush didn't shut down research. Democratic Senator Edward Malarkey of Massachusetts has warned the Trump transition team is about to take actions against city employees that are named. Any political motivation of inquisition, he said, against a federal civil servant under the direction of a previous administration carried out policies that you now oppose would call into question Trump's team's commitment to the rule of law and peaceful transition, Markey said in a letter directly to Trump. Whether he'll listen or not, we don't know. Earlier today, Robert Wright, one of my personal heroes, an economist and former member of the Clinton cabinet, Bill Clinton, also talks about this coming purge in his recent Facebook post. He goes into more detail, talks about the different things that they've asked for. If you haven't liked his page, I would highly suggest you do so. Now, Trump has already picked Scott Pruitt of Oklahoma to lead the EPA. And now he's looking at a member of DAPL to lead the Department of Energy. He believes that climate change is a conspiracy perpetrated on the United States by the Chinese. And now rumor has it that he's going to put an Exxon chairman in the Secretary of State's office. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is going to destroy your planet. I'm not going to mince words here. I've never been a climate change kook, to use a word. I've never been the sky has fallen. I've never been hug a tree. I'm not that kind of person. But let's look at facts. We are on a dangerous tipping point right now. The world is going to change drastically in the next 10 years. Scientists are saying right now that if we don't begin to reverse course immediately, we could fall over that proverbial cliff. And Florida, from Orlando south, could disappear. That's just one example to give you an idea of what we're talking about. Now, I've talked about it many times in my posts on my blog, talked about the Standing Rock Sioux Nation, the DAPL pipeline, climate change, and I've mentioned climate wars. A lot of people, or some people, I will say, have complained that I use such language. Well, it is a war. It's not a war that we intend to fight with guns by any stretch of the imagination, because we're not NRA members, we're liberals. But the fact of the matter is, it is a war. We are fighting for our planet. We are fighting for our country. We are fighting for our children's future. There are protesters at Standing Rock freezing and temperatures that are reaching zero, and they're refusing to leave. Right now in Florida, a Navy veteran gets arrested for crossing the road, jaywalking, because that's the only charge they've got, protesting the Sable Trail pipeline. This is the next front in the war for climate. I'm telling you right now, if you do not get off the couch and do something, your children will suffer. I'm not telling you that they're going to take your guns, and I'm not telling you that there's a war on religion, and I'm not telling you that they're going to turn everybody into a Muslim and make Sharia law the law of the land. I'm telling you that your drinking water is in jeopardy. They still can't drink the water in Flint. I'm telling you that swimming can kill you in some places. An estimated 1,100 birds flew in to a pond to rest on their journey south and died from the chemical poison left behind by a mining operation. They're destroying our planet. We're destroying our planet. We're taking part. I'm sitting here drinking from a plastic coffee cup as I speak, so I'm part of the problem. But I'm also refusing to continue. I'm also refusing to sit idly by while they take everything just for their money, for their pockets. Right now, I'm going to tell you a little secret, folks. It has been proven that we can go 100% solar for our United States energy grid and power every home in America within 20 years with the technology we have today. Look it up. It's a fact. We can do it right now. What would that do? Would it shut down the coal power plants? Absolutely. But it would also give thousands and thousands of jobs to those coal miners making solar panels. There's an entire industry available there. And Donald Trump, I'm going to put your coal miners back to work. Well, okay, let's make some solar panels, and then maybe we can have some work getting done. In Florida, they tried to pass a law that would make it illegal to have solar panels on your house. Fortunately, it was voted down. It's a war. Plain and simple, it's a war. In Flint, Michigan, no one can drink the water. Children have been poisoned. Children will be permanently damaged for the rest of their life, and the state of Michigan sells water to Nestle, but they won't provide water to Flint. This is your country. The Constitution gives you the right to speak, to organize, to peaceably assemble. I'd like you to consider something. On the day that Donald Trump is inaugurated into the White House, there's word of a protest, a 1 million woman march on D.C. I have another idea. A national strike. If you work, if you have a job on January 20th, which is not a federal holiday, on January 20th, don't go to work. Just don't do it. Shut it down. And then just go stand on a street. Don't do anything. If you smoke a cigarette, but you should stop. Just stand there. Make it known that you won't stand still, that you intend to stand against, that you intend to resist. This is Alan Garrett. This is We the People. Join us on our blog at WTPAmerica.org. Give to our Patreon page at patreon.com/WTPAmerica. Join us on YouTube. Resist.